Hey, hey, hey. Good afternoon, everybody. Steve Green here. How are you? It's a hot one here in Philadelphia. Hot like 93 or something. But I'm going to get into this today. It is almost August. Normally, we're not really talking about academics that much this time of year. But now we are. We are. This is an unusual year. It's an unusual year. And again, we are talking about academics because there's a big debate on whether or not people should be going back to school in September. I mean, are they going to go into schools? Are they going to be virtual? A lot of unknowns. A lot of unknowns. So I'm not here to answer those questions, not even really here to debate that. But what I am going to implore you to do, is to plan ahead. And I want to put it out there. I am here as a resource to help you do that. And when I say you, I mean families, parents that support their children, and so on and so on. So let me just get into a little bit of detail about it. And first of all, let me start out by saying, please save the date. September the 10th, 2020, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Annual Make the Grade Virtual Educational Back to School Workshop. www.makethegrade.school. I'll put it up here right now. Okay, it's a pretty cool thing, I think, right there. Makethegrade.school. It's free. Zero money. Why is it free? Because I want it to be a resource. I want this to be a launching point so everybody can get off to the strongest start possible in what's going to be a very unusual and potentially stressful school year. Okay, so September the 10th. Okay, there we go. There's a little bit more about it, but let's not get too in your face on it. Let's talk about just some quick things you can start to plan now. I just did a podcast. I've done a series of them on planning ahead. If I've learned nothing else in almost 25 years of tutoring and 12 more in the education world, it's 37 years. I'm old. It is this. The people who plan ahead and the people who have systems in place typically get the best results. This is true in the classroom. This is true out of the classroom. This is really true everywhere. So I'm telling you now, it's almost August. Some people got a couple weeks, some people got 4 or 5 weeks. Let's plan ahead now. So number one, how can I help you? How can I support all families here? Number one, plan ahead for success. Okay? You don't have to spend hours and hours and hours on this, but you need to think smart. You got to work smart. The plan, in my viewpoint, has 5 pieces to it. And I've talked about this. I'm not really going to get into huge detail on it, but you got 5 elements you got to worry about. 1 is academic, 2 is time, 3 is physical, 4 is accountability, and 5 is support. They're the 5 structures I really stress that I work on with a lot of families. So set yourself up for success by planning and putting those 5 elements into place. Number 2 is get these structures solid. It's not fair to go to a kid and say on September 9th, hey, starting today, you got to change your entire habits. Start to build that up over time. It's difficult to go from nothing to 6 or 8 hours a day of academics. So again, this goes into the planning, but create the structures. I'm here to help people do this. I offer a really good, if I don't say so myself, report that will help you do it. Just let me know, reach out, email, or whatever, or go to the website, even better, makethegrade.net. You can see it there, and plan ahead. Number 3 is just get organized. Get your kids organized. Know where your notebooks are. Know where your books are. Make sure your virtual pieces, if you're going to have to go virtual, make sure you got your hardware in place. Again, this really overlaps into planning ahead, but you can plan and still not be organized, and you can be organized and not plan. So I separate them. Number 4, my specialization is math and science. I've spent a lot of time this summer, hours this summer, working with students and working with families. And the reason is to get them kind of par from where they should have been in June. And listen, everything went off the rails. We know that. We're not pointing fingers. But a lot of people didn't learn a whole lot second half of March, April, May, and whatever was left of June. So we've gone back and we have remediated a lot of these topics in algebra and geometry and pre-algebra. Right before this presentation, I was a little bit late because I was working with a 5th and 6th grader as a group, actually 2 5th graders, 1 6th grader as a little group. I'm also working with a lot of students to plan ahead. Right after this, my next student is doing physics and pre-calc. We're going to look at those subjects. We're going to plan ahead. We're going to work on them. We're actually, the physics student, we're already 2.5 chapters into the book. Big advantage. And again, this is independent of being virtual or live. This is just getting ahead. This is planning ahead. So math and science. I can also help SAT and ACT prep. A little bit up in the air. Right now they're all scheduled. Right now they're all solid. I cannot tell you any won't get canceled again. Let's hope not. Double fingers crossed and rabbit's feet and all that jazz. But it's it's a lot going on out there that we can control and a lot out there we can't control. So let's hope none of that goes on. But people, if you are going to be a senior, you got to get this stuff done. Yes, some schools are making it optional or semi-optional. It's still better to have the numbers. It just is. I communicate with a number of guidance people and I communicate with a number of admissions people. Last thing, number 6, customized plan for your family. I offer something called the Virtual Home Learning Plan. It's a 2 or 3 page document based on a survey that parents would fill out based on the behaviors that are going on in their home with their child or children. I create this custom for everybody. Go to makethegrade.net. You can see it there. There it is right there. And you'll see Virtual Home Learning Plan. I created 44 of them in April and May. Yeah. So I'm here to help. Again, my goal for today is to provide or to tell you how you can get support planning ahead. That's one of the 5 major structures that I provide. Physical, academic, accountability, time, and the 5th one is support. So here's my take-home message. It's only July. I wish I could sit here saying, you know what, this is not a great, let's not worry about school right now. We've got a couple weeks, maybe 5 weeks before we got to worry about it. But you know what? It's going to creep up quickly. And a lot of these things I talked about today, setting yourself up for success, creating your home learning structures, getting organized, dealing with the subjects that might be problematic for you or the tests that might be problematic for you are things that you don't want to wait until school starts to try to get in place, especially if you're a parent who's trying to oversee kids doing virtual learning, okay, and especially if you have multiple kids and you're trying to work, or maybe you have to go back to work. So a lot of people are going to be stuck in this kind of pocket now, where they got to go back to work, but their kids are home. And they're trying to work at home. Their kids have got to be on school for 6-7 hours. It's going to be a sensitive situation. So that's where it is. Steve Green, Make the Grade. Please save the date, September the 10th. There it scrolls along the bottom on cue. This year's virtual educational back-to-school workshop. Usually it's live, and usually I get 150, 200 people. It's really a great event. I'm bringing in 6 speakers, a whole smorgasbord of topics, all about support, all about helping. So I hope you found this helpful. I appreciate everybody who's on and listening. Let's see if there's any quick comments. How do we sign up for the event? Oh, love it. Well, that's a great question. Great question, an easy one to answer. Just go to, where did I put it? makethegrade.school. Enter your info. You'll also see information about all the speakers there and my sponsors. I thank the sponsors, APEC Tech and the Virtual Learning Center. Thank you. And there's a couple more sponsors coming. But you just sign up and it's free. You'll get an email that has how you would access the event. Plenty of time until it happens, not a rush. There's a cap, I think, of 500 people that can attend it. It's not outrageous that we could get there. It's national. It's about 65 registrants already. All right, let me see if there's any other questions. How do I learn about the home learning plan? Yes, go to makethegrade.net. You'll see it right on the front there. Virtual home learning plan, right at the top. Appreciate that. Steve Green here. I don't want to wear out my welcome. I try to keep these 8 to 10 minutes, and I have exactly 10. So I am going to sign off. I plan to be back here tomorrow. I'll probably talking about a little bit more of the same. I've had a lot of questions. What is my feeling about some of the decisions about virtual school versus going into school? And I'm not going to get political. I'll tell you that right now. You won't hear that here, but you will hear my opinion on the academic side of it and what you as a family or a student or a parent can do to prepare. And maybe a little bit on some of the technique, but that is what it is. Have a great day. Stay cool. It is hot, hot, hot where I am. Drink, hydrate. Here you go. Drink your water. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks again, everyone. If you have any questions, hit me up at makethegrade.net or sgreen@makethegrade.net, which is right there. Appreciate it, and I'll see you tomorrow.